Hello, my island special educators, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are all fine and okay and managing the stress of this new normal, as everybody's calling it a new normal. I hope that you're managing the stress of that well and managing stress well. Wow, okay. Managing the stress of that well enough, and you are keeping in good health, and you are just ensuring that your mental space is fine so that you can reach out to others, so that you can reach out to your students, so that you can reach out to the parents, so that you can reach out to everybody else who might require your help. And that is basically what we're about to talk about today. I mean, as teachers, as coaches, as students, as parents, it doesn't matter who you are, this affects you. And with the new normal and the new way of teaching, especially in Jamaica, we are using the Google platform, and that comes with a lot of things, and some of that we'll be talking about today. But it is essential for us to really just keep our minds as calm as possible. Alright, I want to bring this across because you are not the only person facing these issues. You are not in this alone. We are all facing it. We're all in this together, and we'll get through this, guys. We can do this, okay? We can do this. So some of the things that I have seen happening since this new normal, I keep saying that, but yes, it is the new normal. So some of the things that I've seen happening since this new normal, in terms of working online with students and teachers, I realized that information really gets across slowly. It really does, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I want us to accept the fact that, okay, even though it is utilizing technology, and let me be clear, I'm referring to my environment, my area, in my location, and that might be different for areas like Kingston, where you have faster speed internet. Persons really do have better access to certain things as compared to the rural areas, and most of Jamaica is really rural, and so I know that we will see some of the same challenges where you have students that do not have devices, and then the students who do have devices might not have access to the internet, or might not be able to buy data. And then other than that, you might have issues like same device issues, where you'd have like only one device within the home, and then that device belongs to the parent. In certain cases, you'll have parents that they will have only one device within the household, and then these parents will have to ensure that their job gets done so that everybody else in the house is taken care of financially, food, clothes, everything else. And so we are seeing a lot of cases where parents are saying, "Miss, me can't lend my phone," or stuff like that. That goes on everywhere. It's not you alone. You're not the only teacher hearing this. You're not the only coach hearing this. It is okay. It is okay. And I want to reassure us today that it is okay. The end result of this whole pandemic is that a lot of things will get pushed back. A lot of persons might get left behind to an extent. And I think it all comes down to where we go in terms of the aftermath, and not so much what we can do now, because we are really limited right now, because nobody was expecting this. Nobody was expecting this. And so it's okay. And I'm going to say it over and over again because it is okay. And I really would love to reassure us, because at the end of the day, I know even at my workplace, teachers are getting so flustered. Persons are feeling overwhelmed. And that is because they want the students to do well. CXC is coming up. Other Caribbean countries are way ahead of Jamaica right now. And we know this. But then what will be must be. And so if you kill yourselves over it, guys, you're going to die. We don't want dead teachers. We want teachers who will work to help to bring the students back to a place where they will meet up with the persons who are ahead. And I say are ahead because the reality of life is this. If it is that somebody might be a grade ahead of you or know something before you do, the fact is that you can also know it. And regardless of if it is that you are a second behind or a year behind, the fact is that you'll still get there. So do not be so overwhelmed by the fact that things might get pushed back. Because if they do, it doesn't mean that it won't happen. It means that it's just not happening yet. Yes? Alright, so some of the challenges that we're facing right now, yes, the lack of devices. Yes, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no data, no internet, right? And then you have the parents who do have access to all these things, or the students who do have access to all these things. One parents, two students. Parents who have the access and will not give it to the students for whatever reason. Maybe they believe that the student is not responsible enough or not going to actually use it for that purpose, which might be the case. And then you have the students who, regardless of the parents who provide these things, they do not use them for that purpose. They are on the internet doing all sorts of other manner of evil and not attending their classes, not signing into their classes, not doing the assignments, nothing. And again, I say to you, it is okay. And why I say that? Because at the end of the day, we do have other programs. If it is that a student refuses to, soak in all of this education, all of this learning, all of this everything right now, at the end of the day, there are programs that will facilitate learning at a later stage. So even if they don't get it now, they will eventually get it. And again, you cannot kill yourself over the fact that right now things are not going as you plan for it to go. And again, it is okay for it to not go as you plan for it to go. Alright, so those are just some of the issues that we're facing in terms of students and parents, devices, internet. It's a very big thing, because then when teachers open up their classrooms and they log in and they're putting work into their classrooms and they're loading up their PowerPoint presentations and their videos, there's nobody there to respond, there's nobody there to receive the information. Some of the devices might be working but only through WhatsApp, and then it is required for us to use Google, and so teachers have to just be trying to utilize all the options that they have before them. I do know that some schools, at my school, has a drop system where there's a specific location where we do provide like worksheets and just a printed version of everything that is done on Google for the students to pick up and utilize. And I think that is a good method. It's just that there's also the issue of not getting in touch with everyone, and so then that might also pose an issue in terms of, even though there is the resource there, or there are resources being placed in different areas or different places for everybody to try and get it, some persons might not still get it because contact information is not existent, and it is a problem. And it's really sad because you will have students who are getting left behind unnecessarily, and it's not like we don't try to reach them, but it's just that the reality is this. And it is a sad reality, and it is, it is a sad reality of what is happening now. And I think it is now that we really do get to understand that there are persons who are struggling, there are persons who do not have certain things, there are persons who need assistance that can't get it. You will have other issues coming up, because then I'm going to get into pathways now, of course. You will have other issues coming up, like students on pathway 3 we do know that these students are the students who struggle with letter sounds, some of them, and the ones who don't struggle with letters and letter sounds, still their vocabulary is limited. And so reading is an issue for these students. Comprehension is an issue for these students. And so not having them face to face, not having data, not having a device, it poses an issue, because then for the teachers or coaches or whomever might interact with these students to be able to get the information out to them, it's kind of impossible. And then you will have no parents who are in the same situation as these students, because that is the reality of life. You do have adults with learning disabilities, you do have adults who can't read, you do have adults who struggle with comprehension or struggle to express themselves. And so when you are in a home as a student where you do not have an adult that you can depend on to assist you in a certain way, and then the teachers aren't able to get to you to assist you in that way, then you are left alone. And if it is that you struggle with any of these issues as a student, it is even more difficult for you, because then you feel trapped and you feel as if nobody's here to help, and then you start giving up. And then we have issues like, whenever this pandemic is over, we'll see behavioral issues. We will see things like, I mean, I'm no psychologist, but just thinking about the fact that they have been away from a social setting for so long, I'm thinking that students with learning disabilities and intellectual disabilities might struggle with coming into or reintegrating into a classroom with other students, with teachers, with a scheduled time, because remember, they might not have access to online learning to stick to that scheduled time. And so if it is that they are not accessing it now, and the school resumes, let's say another year from now or another half year from now, then it might be difficult for them. And then we will have so many behavioral issues and so on. And I'm just saying it because I need us to get into the frame of mind that even after this pandemic, there's going to be such a big fallout where we will have to just think about the fact that we will have to refrain from, I don't want to use the word refrain. After this pandemic, we will have to just rethink the way how we approach certain things, because we will have to approach these students as if they're babes and reteach certain amounts of social cues and social etiquette and so on. It will have to be taught, and that might prove another issue, because then again, we still would like to get through some of the educational aspects of things. But then there's also the null curriculum, and we have to teach that as well, because they would have lost that information, that basic skills, those basic knowledge for things like that. Alright, and so it's just to open our minds to so many things. I think I might be just blabbering away today, but keep our minds open to that fact. Alright, so the other thing that I would like to talk to us about is just to be encouraged. And I guess I'm intermingled everything. That's a word, it's intermingled a word. I kind of just threw everything in there, but we will have challenges, and we'll continue to have challenges. And so we just have to keep an open mind towards the possibilities. So just be open in terms of how we are going to approach it. Be calm about it. I mean, you can only do so much and do no more. And it is okay for everything not to fall into place or not to be exactly as how you planned it to be. And so we just have to keep an open mind in terms of reaching out to our students and being patient with them enough to understand that this affects them more than on an educational level. It affects their whole psyche in terms of just interacting with others and how to behave. It is really difficult, not only for teachers but for students as well. And as I said, I do know that teachers are frustrated with this whole thing. Some teachers are getting the hang of it. I have a friend, she's in Kingston, and she's getting the hang of it. I think she has a handle on the whole thing. She speaks positively towards her classes. Whenever she has a good class, she's always thrilled about that. And so I do believe that there is progress being made, but again, she's in the corporate area, and so like certain things are very accessible to those persons, but in terms of people in the rural area, it's really difficult. And so just be patient with yourselves and be patient with each other, and try to keep a positive outlook on it, try to be open and so on, so that we can, survive this and move forward with our lives after this, because there is life after this, and it might still be a big struggle. So just be patient and keep calm. So yes, I think that is all I want to say today. I have been posting, so I really do want to get a couple of videos out, and I think it's also important for us to be encouraged. You're not alone. And I remember in my region group the other day, they had asked for the soft copies of the NSC, and there's actually a website for that. And just remind us that other than the NSC website, because everything is online and persons might not want to go back to their actual school location, and so as a coach you can make that accessible on your platform in terms of creating a classroom for coaches, so that teachers can access the information like a little resource room online. That would be great. And I think that was in my last video. I'm not sure if I'm going to redo that video or I'm just going to edit it and post it. But if I'm going to edit it and post it, it would have been posted directly before this one. Okay, and so yes, I think that is all. Just be encouraged, guys. It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. And with that said, my island special educators, I'd love to wish you a productive rest of school year, and I pray that God really strengthens you and keeps you and just give you peace, because in this time we really do need peace. And with that said, I'm going to say shalom. Bye.